no compensation. No, can't continue to allow that. August 29th, about 10:30 p.m. That's why I have to speak up. I like to play stupid, because white folks, they don't like you if you're black and you're too intelligent. They do not like that. They feel threatened or uncomfortable by it. Or they have to act like you are, some kind of a rare anomaly, like a unicorn. And, black people can't be naturally intelligent and gifted academically because, it seems that white folks always feel like they have to either subjugate, oppress, compete with, or minimalize and cannibalize from all other cultures all around the world. And they have completely used and abused my black people, and I have to speak up on that because see, I want my black people to focus on things like this. First of all, I'm not saying that all white people were slave owners or racist and all of that. We're not even getting into that goddamn. I'm not being drawn into silly debates. Okay, history shows we wouldn't be free if there wasn't some whites who obviously stood against it. History shows that. The problem is that they figured out, based upon having an advantage of their cultures were more focused on education rather than tribalism. They focused on tribalism and had wars against each other in Europe and so on, just like they had Africans had wars against each other, tribal wars in Africa. In South America, there were tribal battles. In Mexico, on the border between Mexicans and Native Americans, American Indians. Tribal stuff has gone on forever, and civilization after civilization. But when any civilization has been based upon a slave or servant-based economy, where those in power are dependent upon that slave labor to do everything, the manual labor, and deny them education and basic rights, etc. And then the slaves or the servants who do the manual labor are very strong manually and capable, but lack the education. Of course, there's that imbalance. And so once they figured that out and said, we got to stop enslaving each other. That's what the Northerners, the Europeans said back in the day. Britain, France, Germany, the Germanic tribes, and, Britain, before England was formed, the tribes, they figured out that their countries, their civilizations would never rise if they kept enslaving each other because they had that advantage of focusing on education. And maybe they were just 1 or 2% more, less morally bankrupt back then, a few degrees less morally bankrupt. And so, they stopped enslaving each other, but then why they are still culpable to this day is because they instead decided, but we still like benefiting off of that slave and servant-based economies. We're dependent on it. We don't want to, like they tell us black people, work hard and just work hard and you work hard, study hard, and one day you'll have, a good life that you work for. But they don't do that, do they? Their behavior pattern is to go all around the globe selling religion and obey your slave master, turn the other cheek when they don't want to be slaves or obey no slave master. Turn the other cheek. When they don't turn the other cheek, they bring war. Anytime, they'll bring war. You do something, they'll bring war to you. Okay? And you'll get your reward in heaven after you die. While they reap all the benefits and rake benefits and natural resources and human people and out of every country all around the globe. And that's what they call their culture of, a culture of conquest, corruption, cannibalism of other cultures and other people. Hell yeah, they got culpability. They knew it was wrong when they went all over the globe, still enslaving black and brown people. That was okay, because see, we didn't have the education. We didn't have that educational advantage, and they came with rum, guns, and trade. To my African ancestors who were already busy enslaving my ancestors and, working with the Arabs, somehow black people are always downgraded all over the globe. The behavior patterns that we're worthless, we're this, we're that, treated as less and all that, but always we're the backbone of the, slave and servant-based economies. They try to keep us, we're very strong, very useful, like they said here in America when they did the slave breeding programs, How you going to say you don't have a responsibility after slavery just because you didn't own a slave? They bred slaves for 50, 60 years after slavery. Tried to hide those records, but thank God there still are some. And they were very proud of it, what a big moneymaker it was and how necessary it was to the economy. And how they went and gave reparations to the doggone slave owners when they couldn't have their slaves anymore. In Britain and here in America they did that. Huh? But not to the slaves. Slave owners, you lost your slaves, that's a huge loss to you. But the slaves, you don't deserve nothing for all of your lost years of labor or for being held back. You know, always we're dismissed and minimized. But see, where they fucked up, those in power who would never willingly give up power to those in power over, you know when they fucked up? When they decided to wholeheartedly open arms and say, we all got to welcome the migrants, we have this responsibility. Really? But no responsibility to black folks who our ancestors were enslaved. We have a responsibility to give them everything, bend over backwards, free this, free that, food, room, board, shelter, metro cars, transportation. Let's hurry up and give them housing, jobs. You mean the very same housing and jobs you said was not available in black communities for black people now is available in black communities for the next wave of the servant-based economy and worker-bee-based economy that you want to move forward, where the whites and the rich folks at the top, the elites at the top, and the overseer, law enforcement, and the house slave, you know, the rich black folks. You know what I noticed? We got all of these so-called black leaders, you know, pushing and pimping religion so that they don't have to work a real job. You know, they just get paid off of selling black people to obey your slave owner bullshit. And because I believe in the holy books, but they were touched by the hand of man. They were written by the hand of man. I know I'm a writer, you know, and I know something that's faulty and flawed when I see it. You know, that's no. You're not gonna tell me God said that. And that's what they do. Our black leaders, they pimp that. But you know what I noticed? The migrants are coming here demanding Americans pay for everything, even suing for it if need be. And y'all bend over backwards, so-called black leaders, to accommodate all that. Y'all ain't doing nothing for our black communities. But you went hat in hand to Massa Biden, remember? Asking and begging, excuse me, listen, we need something, some kind of, we all push for everybody to vote for you, and we need something for the black community. After the vote was given, didn't demand anything beforehand or anything, or nothing, nothing. Nothing was given, nothing. No timeline. This is what we're going to accomplish. We're going to make sure we invest these funds, this money right here into the black community. But all of a sudden, there's plenty jobs for foreigners in the black community. Plenty housing for foreigners in the black community. Benefits. Black people, we were told back in the day, it's bad to be on welfare, having a bunch of babies on welfare, got to get off of welfare and all of this and this and that. Don't need no benefits, don't need no social net or nothing like that. Stand on your own 2 feet. While we were supposed to welcome foreigners and bend over backwards to provide everything for them. And that's just fine, you know, as long as it's not black folks that they have an actual obligation to. As long as they're, you know, letting in the next wave of the servant and worker bee, you know, and they know they're going to be grateful because they're coming from countries where their law enforcement or their governments or their people abuse them even worse, you know, than they're trying to abuse Americans here now. And they're trying to abuse us like this. No. We have no obligation. The descendants of the slaves. We have no obligation. The descendants of those who were bred or those who were brought in shackles from Africa, denied education. But now y'all got all this money to throw for the foreigners to make excuses for why they're not studying and this and that. Y'all don't want them studying. Y'all want them working in y'all businesses, point blank. Y'all don't care if they're barely educated or if they get black, white, Spanish, legal, illegal, if they can barely fucking do basic math or do basic science or basic language arts or basic biology or anything. Advanced mathematics or nothing. Y'all history, nothing. Y'all just want them smart enough to keep y'all in office while y'all run all kind of scams and blame it on black people. We're so valueless. We're lazy and this and that, but yet y'all held on to us and forced us to be slaves here, to use us for all the value that we had. And talked about it back in the day in the documentaries, in the slave breeding documentaries, about how, no, you need your slave. That's a huge part of your economy that the country needed. The country needed. Not just the South, the country. This is what they said in the documentaries. You better look it up. What's been said about our black people. Or add up how much stuff has been stolen from black people. Inventions black people made that were taken from them. Farmers, they land taken from them. Business owners ran out of communities. Well, we being told by the white folks that we need to welcome any and everybody into our communities, the very same communities they did not welcome us into and did not want us there by any means necessary. And I understand, I don't want to be around ghetto folks either. But those who work hard should be welcome, but we're not. We're looked at like criminals and everything and treated like that. You know, add up how much of a debt of all the land that was terrorized from black people's ownership, home ownership, business ownership, not just Black Wall Street. There were many communities. They may only talk about one or two, and then they monetize off of our pain, make movies about it. That's fine to make the movies about it, but not to pay a actual debt that is owed to us, that this country would not be what it was without them 400 years of free black labor, and then 50, 60 years of the slave breeding, and all of the inventions they stole from black people and everything like that, and didn't give us any kind of financial restitution for, or in fact would even terrorize you, take your life for all kind of things that's still going on to this day, where the system is set up so that, you know, those who are at the top in power, those who are in power never willingly give up power. You know, no matter what they say about what are you going to be when you grow up, bullshit that they sell to the kids. Why they gut the educational budget so that most of them will never have a chance or a prayer in hell of ever being this articulate, or have a prayer in hell of ever being financially literate enough to be a business owner or a landowner or a property owner. And they don't want us to be. They want us to work in their businesses. Now you understand? Miss me with the bullshit, the ebonics and the semantics bullshit. Nah, hell no, this ain't okay. How you gonna say we have this obligation to welcome in all these folks and bend over backwards to provide for them, but no obligation for us, the descendants of the slaves that built the country for free, and that was subjugated even after slavery was over, still by all kinds of institutions. Add up how much money would be owed for all them inventions that was stolen from us, all the land, the farms that was stolen from the black farmers, and the ranchers, black ranchers being ran off the border, all kinds of shit. Or for all the labor they got for putting black people in jail for things like weed and stuff that is now legal, that they bending over backwards to make all these crimes legal for the next wave of permanent servants and worker bees. The fake-ass new Americans, new New Yorkers who don't come here for education or nothing, that our people fought hard for. Our ancestors fought hard for that shit. Even for those of y'all who don't value that education, our ancestors fought hard for it, so we could have the right to it, you know? So that we could have a chance to be equal. You can't be equal without education. The whites figured it out a long time ago, but instead they sold slave, obey your slave master, and religion. And look, what did our religious leaders get when they went in that meeting with Biden? Why did migrants come in and demand, foreign citizens come in and demand and take to court, demand that Americans and black Americans pay, be financially responsible for them, and be put in danger by their criminal shit and all of that, and not be held accountable, nothing that don't obey no laws and want to be lawless and come and use our laws against us. And what did our black leaders get out of that when they went to meet with Biden after they tried to force black people, talking about, y'all trying to treat us like slaves? Biden said, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. That's trying to treat me like a slave. We're going to court. I'm not going to be subjugated by nobody. The Bidens, the fucking black mayor, the Obamas, or anybody benefiting off this system. My kids, y'all kids, everybody's kids are being sold a lie while they gut our communities, but then they flood our communities with money, black folks. They flooding our communities with money that they said they didn't have for black infrastructure, for jobs, housing, schools, safety, crime, nothing. But they have it for the illegals they put into our communities. They flooding our communities with money that's not even for us. Money that they got from us and every other American taxpayer and legal citizen. Yeah, wait, or legal immigrant. Yeah, wake the fuck up. We being straight up played. And I'm not being played by the system because I see through that shit. But I'm not going to let my children be played by it. I'm not going to let my community. I'm not going to let black people. I'm not going to let poor people. I'm not going to let the illegals be played by it either while they be sold a dream. That's not real. And they come in, they be stressed the fuck out. They be snapping too. When they realize, yo, they selling us a dream on the border. The crime gangs and drug gangs and the elites who, you know, who selling them that, oh, come on, be all you could be. It's bullshit. They want y'all to be the servants that and workers and slaves, modern day slaves that we black people used to be. And they want it because y'all will take half pay, less pay, and they don't have to pay y'all as much as us because they can pay you under the table, you know, and, you know, black folks, we know we got to be paid a certain wage and all of that, and they don't want to do that. And that's the bottom line, yo. They're playing all of us. Nah, it's not going to go down like that. I'm a descendant of the slaves, son. I ain't letting y'all treat me like a modern day slave bitch because y'all okay with this bullshit. I'm not.